All right, let's talk about calculations. Good morning and welcome to In the Car with Clint. Today is the 7th C of sales in a series of alliteration-based marketing and sales training. In the Car with Clint. There's no more C's. So we've gone through the 7 C's of sales, right? Just to recap for anyone that's watching this in the first video, you need to identify your customer. You need to create an offer. You need to communicate the offer with those potential customers. You need to capture the customer's information and ideally the sale. You then need to care about your customer. Then you are going to cut the fat. We got this right? Yep. And then during this whole process, you are calculating. You say it 3 times, it'll sink in. So obviously at stage 1, when you're trying to identify your customer, you need to calculate who your customer is, where they're living, why they might be interested in your offer, all the stuff around that, like how many, you might be calculating the number of people that live in an area, the age groups of people that might be interested in your offer. There's not a lot of calculating in there, but then the next part, when you get into number 2, the second C of sales is around creating the offer. You need to calculate how much money you need to make on the offer to make it worthwhile. You need to calculate how many items you might be buying, because if you're doing a call to action to sell something, that's important. You need to calculate how much it might cost you to ship them. You might need to calculate the cost if it doesn't work. So all of this comes into account when you're creating the offer. A real big one is to do a risk analysis of what will happen if you put the offer out there. We do that with our specials. We might have something that we want to do a special on, but someone's just bought 100 of that item the week before, and we now are about to put something on special that they've just bought. And I know some businesses will do something like, if you've bought something and then you see it on special within 21 days, they'll refund the difference. I think that's smart. I think that can avoid you. I mean, most people won't come after it, and most people will be like, I don't care, like, I paid for it, I made my money. But I think it's smart because it gives you the opportunity to cut off any potential loss of customer before you get the loss of customer. So that's in the creation of the offer. Then a big one, when you're looking to communicate your offer, it depends on how you're going to do it, but you need to calculate what that looks like. So are you going to put it on television, and what's the cost of the television? Are you going to run ads on Facebook, and what is your desired cost of acquisition and return on investment of the sale? Now, I'll drill into this a little bit because I think it's important, but when you are running a business, any business, without customers, you don't have money. And without the money, you don't have a business. So you need customers. What the big boys do, and the big girls, is they work out the lifetime value of a customer, and then they reverse engineer what they're willing to spend. So, we've got, at WaterPro, I've got customers that spend $500,000 a year, right? And I've got customers that have done that for 10 years. So they're a $5 million lifetime customer. But I could get another 20 years of high quality relationships and sales from these guys. So we've got, say $15, $20 million lifetime value on these customers. You can then work, like, reverse engineer knowing what your profit is. So you got your lifetime value, you work out how much money you make from that. So you know how much money you're going to make over the lifetime of the customer. And a lot of this, there'll be churn rates, and you can Google this. Like, you're going to lose some of them, but it means that for us, like, if there's a really large customer that we want, for us to spend $5,000 to $15,000 acquiring that customer, it's not out of the question, and no one does it, right? So, and I said this to a client, I'm like, I jokingly said it, but if he'd said yes, I would have done it. I jokingly said, hey, I'll just buy you a boat, right? Like, you want to come and be a customer, like, what do we need to get your attention? And they were like, no, we're really happy with who we're buying from, don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, the decision maker likes fishing, yeah? And they're like, yeah, the decision maker likes fishing. I'm like, I'll buy him a $20,000 boat if you come over and spend $100,000 in your first year, knowing that there's 20 grand profit in my 100. Once we get someone inside our walls, I know they'll stay, right? I know, and look, sometimes shit happens and we let people down, but if I'm involved, which I'm involved a lot. And if it trickles down through, and I've done my job, and I've trained my staff how to treat people and how to make sure that they identify things that might upset customers and knock them on the head before it gets too far, we don't lose customers unless we choose to lose customers. So calculate how much you're willing to spend on communicating the offer. Then you need to capture the sales. So this is another thing. How much are you willing to spend? How many phone calls do you want to make? You need to calculate what it looks like. It's all about numbers. This is business we're talking about, right? So it's all maths. How many phone calls can I make a day? How many people can I see a day? How many customers are we hoping to convert? Like, so if we send out an offer to 10,000 people, what's an acceptable number of captures from that? So is a 1% conversion rate good? Is a 30% open rate on email good? And so what will happen is you'll start to understand things that you need to change as you're tweaking these 7 C's of sales. Yesterday I spoke to you about the like rinse and repeat. We're at a point at, we're calculating what works and what doesn't work, and then we're rinsing and repeating. I talked about care yesterday. You need to calculate how much money you're able to spend on the customer experience and the relationships that you want to have. I don't do this well enough. I just spend money and know that the brand that I'm building over the next 2, 3, 4, hopefully 5 decades will be strong because of the investment that I've put into it. And I know that we've got competitors that will have, we'll take this client out for lunch and we'll spend this much money. That was Eminem just jumping in for some reason. We know that we will have these clients, these competitors that will spend money on acquiring these customers, and they have a ledger on the other side going, well, how much has that customer spent? It's not my style, right? If we had ledgers around how much money we spent on customers and then how much we got back in return, we wouldn't do anything, right? There's this and I know that's kind of contradictory because I'm talking about calculating. You just need to know that you're not going to run out of money. If you want to run close to the line and break even for 10 or 20 years, that's how big companies grow. That's what I'm doing. Then that's up to you. If you want short-term economics and you need to pull out the money quickly, then you need to make sure that you're understanding your numbers and that you're calculating what you're willing to spend, and that's all you spend. I don't look at it, right? I just go, let's have a barbecue. Like, let's have an event for clients that cost me $5,000. Do we have it in the budget? Didn't even look. I just know that it's not going to bankrupt us, so let's do it because I think it's the right thing to do. It's going to help build relationships. It's going to grow our customer following, and everything's going to be good. At some point, I probably got to stop doing that, but right now, I'm not uncomfortable with it. I think it's more important for me to follow my gut, so that's what I do. So that's the calculate side of things. There's a lot in that. If you're not sure about anything, just hit me up on the DM or stick it in the comments if you think that your question might benefit other people. And then I will be able to help you out. So thanks for tuning into the 7 C's of sales. I'm actually delivering this as a keynote, or I don't know what you call it, like a lecture on Friday. And I just thought it would be a good idea for me to put it on video, just so that I can iron out the bugs, so that on Friday it'll be really, really good. I think we'll be filming that. So if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, now's a good time. To my YouTube channel, Clint Adams's YouTube channel, if you didn't catch that. And then that'll give you the ability to catch that video. I think it'll be an hour and a half of me talking about this, and hopefully providing some real life examples for people that are running businesses, and then kind of running their business through my 7 C's of sales, which will help grow the business that you have and increase the profits using relationship-based sales off the back of the 7 C's of sales. I'm still fleshing it out. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I know it's a bit longer than normal, but hopefully it brings you some value. There's plenty of stuff that people watch that probably isn't helping them, and there's plenty of stuff out there that is very helpful that no one's watching, and it's a lot easier to find it now than it was 20 years ago. So be careful what you feed your brain. Thanks for tuning in. Be kind to each other, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.